My oh my. Ain't it funny how the tables turn? Ain't it funny how the tables turn? The PBC has canceled the Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman fight. Why? I'll tell you why. Because the PBC has no money and nobody was interested in the fight. That's why. Because if they had money and people was interested in watching a PBC card, they just would have replaced Fundora and allowed Keith Thurman as the main event to go on and make his money, and allowed the undercard, which had Frank Martin and O'Shea Foster, Stephen Fulton, and a few other fighters on there. They robbed them of a payday because they didn't nobody want to see it. And this is for you people that said that Shakur Stevenson, when he was looking to get a fight with Gervonta Davis, or Terrence Crawford when he was looking to get a fight with Errol Spence, should have went to the BBC and signed with them. Why? They've been known this about the PBC. They've been knowing that the PBC was having money issues and didn't have networks that wanted to broadcast the fights because they wasn't bringing in the revenue that they claimed they was bringing in years ago. They always inflated their numbers to make it seem like they had the A-side fighters. That's why they had people like Keith Thurman versus Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, in-house fights. Errol Spence versus Garcia and Sean Porter. And they can no longer do that to the sport of boxing. They can no longer essentially trick the sport of boxing into believing that they have all the top tier fighters and keep all the money in-house. Look at Tank. That's why Tank is so disgruntled. Tank is so disgruntled because he ain't getting what he was promised, and he's locked into a bad contract. That's what's wrong with him. That's really what's wrong with him. And then of course he's scared to get beat up too. And then you look at Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder said publicly on camera, when he finished fighting, he want his money, he want his check that night. He don't want his money in increments. Like they try to spoon feed AB his money. They do that with everybody because they pay-per-view and their business model is set up to where they have to like essentially keep paying these fighters in increments. But it's so bittersweet to me to see the PBC going through this, because they had a veil over people's eyes for years, and it was hard for people like me to explain this to people. And oh, you just going against a black business. And I'm not going against the black business. The black business had a shitty product. That's what it was. The black business had a shitty product. Al Heyman and the PBC was selling us shit and telling you that it was gold. And for people with common sense, we seen this a mile away. But it's just bittersweet, because if it was Top Rank or anybody else, which Top Rank, all these promotional companies do it. And one thing, if the PBC would have been gone a long time ago if they wouldn't have been doing joint promotions with Top Rank, Turkey Ala Sheep, The Zone, Golden Boy. They would have been gone a long time ago because they don't have the funds to host these fights. They don't. And David Benavidez and Gervonta Davis and Pitbull Cruz too are the only things they holding on to. And David Benavidez is about to hit the pinnacle of his career, and he needs compensation. He needs compensation. You know, Pitbull and Tank, don't nobody really care about Tank no more. Pitbull, he's becoming a gatekeeper, especially if he loses this fight to Lamont Roach. But David Benavidez is about to go into the prime and the pinnacle of his career, and he does not need to waste it with the PBC. And I hope he don't. But he's already allegedly in talks with Turkey Ala Sheep to get him a nice deal. But yeah, that's That's my take on it. Anyways, but it's the boxing coop. Reality alert. Like, share, and subscribe.